just watched my video, the intro to this video, you know what we're talking about already, and we've already gotten in to Didymus and Didymoon and how there is a plan to blow them up. So I'm going to explain to you who is doing this plan, and so y'all just bear with me. I've got my notes here on my laptop right beside me, so if I look away from the camera, I'm not losing my focus, I'm just reading. Okay, the European Space Agency is called the ESA, and NASA, and we all know, if we're from America, what NASA is planning to attempt to deflect some asteroids, and those asteroids happen to be Didymus and Didymoon. So NASA is called their mission impact, mission AIM, A-I-M. It would launch a spacecraft in 2020 to Didymus asteroid and its moonlet, Didymoon, and the pair of space rocks is expected to pass 10 million miles from Earth in 2022, which they say is just a hair away from us. If you look at the, well, anyway, yeah. So, AIM, A-I-M, the one I told you about's target is Didymoon. And the spacecraft would release a probe to land on the rock's surface. That's kind of weird to me, because Didymoon is spinning around Didymus like, it's in, it's in its orbit. So I don't know. They're really going to have to figure out some stuff for that to work. I'm worried because, as a lot of you, we study prophecies. We study the Mayans, which we're going to talk about in a minute. We study the Bible, which is, boy, it's full of supernatural stuff and prophecies. We study artifacts, and the Native Americans study their ancestors to learn what's going to happen or what could happen in the future and stuff. So when it says in the Bible that this something is going to fall from the sky that's on fire, that's like a mountain, and they're calling Didymoon a mountain as big as a mountain, that gets, my antenna goes, beep, something's up there, y'all. So anyway, what they're planning on doing is going to the surface. The spacecraft would release a probe to land on the rock surface, as well as 2 satellites to orbit it so they could watch it, right? 4 months later, the NASA aircraft would complete the second part of the mission with a double asteroid direction test that they call DART, D-A-R-T. Now, with the ESA satellites watching, so see, I way back up here, I told you that the European Space Agency, the ESA, was going to be in with the United States, NASA, to work on this. And so their part is going to be to watch it from the ground to see if, I guess, if it is going to be successful or not. I don't know, y'all. This kind of scares me a little bit. What do you think? But anyway, it's scheduled to slam into Didymoon and attempt to knock it off course. And that's what I want to talk about. If it's going to knock it off course, what course is it going to knock it off to? Is it going to knock it away from us? Is it going to knock it into space? Is it going to be hit at the wrong angle and shot down to Earth in a millisecond? I mean, it could. I'm thinking I better be ready to meet my maker because I might be meeting him soon. Well, anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about on that. And I am going to put right here a diagram of their plan if you want to look at it, and then I'll be right back. What do you think about that, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird to me. But anyway, we'll find out. sooner or later. 2022 is when they're going to slam into it and divert it. And I think they're trying to blow up Didymoon, the little one, or knock it into smaller pieces, I read in some article, but we'll figure that. I mean, they'll do what they're going to do. I'm going to be praying a lot. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was 2012. Did you ever hear about 2012? I know some of you are young on here, but in 2012, you were still here, and you might have been young, but the Mayans had on their calendar that the world was going to be destroyed in 2012. Well, it didn't happen. But many of us don't know that it almost did. And there was an incident that happened that I am going to put right after I stopped yapping of Mr. Adair, who used to be a rocket scientist employed with Area 51. He's a very intelligent man. He's still working with rocket science, and he's still doing things. But I won't go into that. But he did say in July of 2012, there was some real big things that happened. And anyway, I'll let you listen to him because he said the Mayans were absolutely right. And I'll let him explain it, and I'll be right back.
Is a fragile butterfly wing, and it can be taken out instantly. And on July 23rd, 2012, type that in your internet. Look what happened that day. We almost died. Not one, not two, but 3 CMEs were coming at us in a row. Perfect CME storm. A CME is a ball of sweat. Like you do your forehead. The sun throws off balls of sweat. These balls of sweat, though, are the size and mass of Mount Everest. 29,000-foot mountain. There were 3 of them in a row heading right for us, going to hit us dead center. The first one would have blown the Van Allen radiation belt out. 2 and 3 would have cascaded over the planet, and everything electronic on this planet would have been gone. All aircraft would have crashed on the ground. All the continents are on fire. No way to put them out. Smoke would have rolled out. This would have happened on July 23rd. This story was not released until 2 years later, 2014. They talked about it. But if this CMEs had hit us on July 23rd, it would have taken about 6 months for everything to go in effect, for the smoke to blot out the sun. The last person would have died around 6 months later. Ironically, the date would have rolled out to be December 22nd, 2012. The Mayans were right. Not bad for a group of people who didn't even have a computer. So what happened? Something bumped these 3 CMEs in between the orbit of the asteroid belt and Mars. They came 93 million miles away, and when they went past us, they were so close, they were between the moon and us. 110,000 miles. They just slided right by. So whatever that bump was, it made it just enough to miss us. Well, what's that bump? Well, officially it's called a phenomenon or an anomaly. Fancy word saying we don't have a clue what it was. Maybe it was Mr. Spock out there on the Enterprise. I don't know. But we should have bought it that day, but we didn't. And that's documented all over the internet. Read up on it.
So the Mayans were right. None of us knew we were fixing to blow up. Did you know that people canceled their flights in airplanes that day so they wouldn't be in the air when that happened? Yeah. How many people called in sick to work? I have no clue, but I bet there was a lot of them, right? Oh, man. I can't believe it. I was praying, and I didn't believe the end of the world was going to happen. But little did I know that it almost did. Now, my question is, what was that something that they don't know about that deflected those CMEs that were coming to Earth that day to stop the end of the world? Well, I happen to believe it was our Creator. I believe that He stopped it. And you know, I believe the enemy's got a plan too, and he wants to short stop everything. He wants to keep people from getting it together. And I think that that was his plan to destroy us before we realized who we were and kill our kids and our future generations. And God put out his invisible hand and stopped it. What do you think? Let me know. But anyway, the Mayans didn't worship the God of the Bible. They worshiped star people. They worshipped deities that roam the air. And I've already told you before, Satan's free to roam the air, and all of his demons and fallen angels with him that didn't get put in prison for having sex with women, they're still roaming around out in the air. And so it's kind of weird, because I was also studying that all the spirits that people contact and everything are really coming from that realm between the heaven and space and earth. That middle part where the air is, that's where they're coming from. And make you wonder, who you're talking to, I would think. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just my thoughts. And so we didn't die. We've got time to get ourselves together. But I don't know. Them blowing up these rocks kind of freaks me out a little bit. You take something spinning and you don't hit it just right, it's going to go in a direction you didn't think it was going to go. Right? Okay, one last thing I'm going to put in here is that I haven't had a lot of activity recently, but it's fixing to be fall, so that means there may be some Bigfoot activity, because there usually is. But if not, thank God, because honestly, I'm not entertaining that. I'm shrinking. I don't want them around, because when they're around, weird things happen. Okay, just weird things that are spiritual in nature that I don't want to have anything to do with. It freaks me out. But anyway, I'm protected. I just don't want to mess with it. So I haven't been entertaining it. I have heard 2 rocks slam together when I went out at dusky dark the other night. I did not acknowledge it. I just pretended like I didn't hear it. And usually I would go, hello, or so. I'm not doing that anymore, because I think I figured out what kind of creatures they are, at least in my area, and I don't want anything to do with it. Okay, so, but I was filming and taking pictures of these wild turkeys that come into my yard, and I love them. I like them. They come and eat our bird seed, right? Well, I caught something on camera, and I took pictures later, and it's distinctively showing in the picture I caught that there was something dark between the leaves. Something dark. I don't know what it was, but I'm not going to say what it was, because I can't tell. But I took a picture later. I've looked at it at the same time of day, right before dark. It doesn't look anything like it did in this picture. So I'm just going to put the picture of what I saw, and then a picture with it not there. And something black was in the woods. What it was, I don't know. Okay, until next time, I'm going to talk about some other stuff that's been rolling around in my brain. I am studying about shamanism. Real shamans. Are they shamans or shamans? Shamans or shamans? How do you pronounce it? With a long A or a short A? Shamans? Shamans? What are they? Well, I'm going to find out before I talk about them for real. And y'all let me know what you think about this video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribed. I usually put God in there somewhere because I believe in God. And if you don't, that's, up to you. You got your choices. But I always, if I think of something that goes along with what I've read, I'm gonna share it with you in case you want to know, okay? And if you don't, you can just scroll past. All right, well, thank you, and subscribe, give me a like, leave me a message if you want to, and I will try my best to answer you. And if I don't, it's either because I didn't catch it or I haven't had time yet. All right, God bless. Everybody have a good weekend coming up soon. I'm ready. Are you? All right, bye.